It's 13 minutes after 3 KNYO Fort Bragg. It's time for this week's installment of Ezekiel Kralen's story about the two little dogs, Flacco and Lucky, but I don't see any dogs anywhere in here. I think this is all about the legal trouble that he's in and getting himself out of at this point in the story. And we left it at that as the title. Ezekiel Kralen wrote email correspondence April 17th to the 18th. Subject, I just heard from the American Bar Association. Date, April 17th. Where you can ask a legal question for free. Of course, my question had to do with whether or not the accusations against me would be transferred to a blah blah realty, the other defendant, since I'll be dismissed due to my judgment-proof status. Here's the email I got. Hello, Ezekiel. You have a message waiting for you at the Free Legal Answers website. What to do next? Visit the Free Legal Answers website, sign in using your email address and password, read your message, then reply to this message to ask a follow-up question and get more help, or mark as closed if your question is fully answered. Note, when you mark as closed, your question will close and you will not be able to ask more follow-up questions. Please review the answer to your question. After your question is closed, take a moment to complete our short survey. Remember to sign out of the website when you are done. So I logged into the ABA's Free Legal Answers page, and here is their reply. Hello, I have taken your question and will be providing an answer shortly. I didn't see any point in replying with something lame like, okay, thanks. Instead, I closed the tab and thought, geez, is this yet another brush-off like I got from NOLO's free chat advice? Be that as it may, I have yet to hear from the plaintiff's attorney to my email sent Friday where I informed him, hey, biatch, I'm judgment-proof, so you can't sue me. Of course, not in those words, but that's what it comes down to. Well, as that attorney the GG Bar referred me to, who wouldn't take my case but kindly heard me out, said with a hearty guffaw, you don't have to do a thing. Make them sweat. I like Mr. Wasserman. Hope to get to meet him someday. Subject, Deke's calendar, April 18th, early afternoon. A few days ago, I purchased from Amazon the cheapest wall calendar I could find, just under $4, so I can show Deke his weekly payments and the days he asked for them in advance. The black horizontal lines indicate what he has already received in weekly payments, with each line running straight from Sunday to Thursday, standing for $40 for Sunday and $40 for Thursday, which equals $80 per week. The star-like points indicate each day he's received $80, and you can see they're mostly advance payments. Otherwise, each star would fall on Sunday, unless, as in this case, Sunday falls on the first or second day of the month, which means I can't pay him till my Social Security deposit arrives on the 3rd. Keep in mind, the first payment begins on Sunday if that comes before the first Thursday. Otherwise, it's reversed. So some months turn out to be Sunday-Thursday weekly payments, while other months will be Thursday-Sunday payments. In other words, excluding advance payments, on some months he'll collect his moolah every Sunday, and on others it will be every Thursday. So you can easily see he's also gotten all three of his payments before the middle of the month. Maybe I should also draw a thinner line with a ballpoint pen, connecting each star to its matching line for extra clarity. And there are 4 weeks to every month, so he gets 4 $80 allotments for the entire month. And since each month except February is 2 or 3 days over 4 weeks, sometimes one of those days is Sunday or Thursday, in which case he gets another $40. Let's see if he'll rebel when I bring out the calendar. I don't want to see it. I don't need to see it. In which case I'll reply, yes, you do need to see it, Deke, and until you let me show you this calendar, I won't give you any more money. I can't imagine him refusing, except if he's been intentionally trying to befuddle the schedule in order to trick me into coughing up even more buckazoids. After all, showing him a calendar with clearly displayed marks and lines would absolutely put the kibosh on his Cajun scam. Maybe I'll deduct $4 from his next allowance to cover the cost of the calendar. Signed, Zeke K. Holmes. P.S. I already texted you that last night's meetup was mellow, but besides mentioning he did not try to squeeze another advancement out of me, he had laid down a few jackets for the doggies before calling up to my window and invited me to give Lucky some hugs, because he was feeling under the weather. Of course I did, and that perked the little fellow up in no time. Naturally, his sister attempted to plop herself onto him to soak up all of my attention, but I just took her under my spare arm so she couldn't do that, while also giving her some love. Lucky is showing a patch of gray under his chin these days. He's not quite 5 years old. Subject: good news from my eviction attorney. Date: April 18th, mid-afternoon. She just sent me this email. Quote, I received a voicemail from the landlord's attorney that they will be dismissing the eviction case against you. Finally, once the dismissal is filed, you can start paying rent again. I will let you know when it is filed. I just wanted to let you know that I will be out of the office from April 21 to May 5. April 21 to May 5. So you might want to offer the rent for May while I'm away. Please feel free to email me with urgent questions or concerns while I am out. So I posted her back. That's great news, thanks. Does BALA send them my escrow money directly, or does the amount get returned to me and then I pay them? Or do you mean that I can pay them for May, then the remainder after you return and reimburse me the escrow? Signed, Z.K. Holmes. P.S. So, Watson, Terry Pterodactyl's prophecy came true in a much bigger way than expected. He gave me the whole fucking enchilada, both the threat to sue and the eviction case, the former eradicated on Friday and the latter just today. Subject: this time Scooter hopped into the ambulance. Date: April 18th, nighttime. Just a few minutes ago, a fire engine showed up in front of my building, so of course I thought, another Carlson emergency. Or maybe it's Kevin. So I watched out my window to see who'd hobble out the front gate first or was transported on a gurney. It turned out to be Scooter, who seemed to have difficulty walking and was bent over in what I guess was pain. And he sat down on one of the fire engine's tailboard steps. Then the ambulance arrived, at which time Carlson appeared and walked over to him. Some talking ensued, which I could not discern. Then two EMTs gently escorted Scooter into the ambulance, leaving Carlson behind. Who knows what the fuck is going on with those two, but it certainly ain't love. By the way, 5 days ago, when Deke saw the building manager seated by an outdoor table in front of Super Duper, he declared that he wasn't the person he saw being carted off in a gurney back on January 13th, which also happened to be a Friday. Ha. Well, that's strange, Deke, I replied, because he definitely went to the hospital that same evening. No other ambulance showed up, and I heard his voice on the floor above, speaking to the EMTs just moments before you saw whomever being carried off to the ambulance. Then we left it at that. To be continued.